And to PackersNews.com postgame. I'm Cassidy Hill, joined by Ryan Wood, who, like Pete before the game, feels like my intern holding the mic for me. Thank you so much.
I'm just here to help.
You're just here so you don't get fined. Ryan, we were talking right before we went live. Packers 49ers playoff game, snowy in Lambeau Field. It is still snowing as we are out here. This is the dream when it comes to football. But of course, felt like a nightmare at the end of the night for the Packers as they fall 13-10 to the San Francisco 49ers. At least in my lifetime, Ryan, it feels like they can't get past the 49ers in the postseason.
Feels like they can't get past the postseason. It's the 49ers, or it's the Seahawks, or it's the Giants, or it's the Falcons, or it's the Bucks. It's the Packers. So here's we're positive on this show. It's a positive show. Here's a long list of the silver linings tonight. It is absolutely beautiful here. That's beautiful.
Beautiful.
And that's it. There is nothing else. You know, the defense, we ought to give a kudos to the defense. Defense was dominant. It was amazing to see what this defense was capable of had they been full, had they been a whole unit. But, man, when you've got a defense like that, and when have the Packers ever had a defense like that, and they can't do anything on offense after the first opening drive, and the thing that you feared all season happened. You knew all year that this was going to come down to special teams, and it came down to special teams. To know that, to see it coming from miles away and to do nothing about that, that's got to be the most sickening feeling. That's where the gut punch is here, the block punt. And let's not forget, Cassidy, the missed field goal. It was a disaster again. The special teams is incompetent. It is unprofessional, and it's an embarrassment. And ultimately, it's unacceptable. There's no other way to put it.
That is a very good way to put it. I actually went to the 49ers postgame, and Jimmy Ward, who blocked the field goal, I asked him, was that something that you saw you could take advantage of? Because this Packers special teams has been suspect. And he said, yeah, we saw that on tape. We knew we could do that. And so they came in, as you said, knowing from a mile away that the special teams was something they could take advantage of. The 49ers special team hasn't been great this year either, but they still knew it was an area where they could beat the Packers. All of that to ask, and we've gotten this question already from a few people, including the very first question that came in on our post game from Chase. Do you think Mo Drayton's here tomorrow?
Tomorrow is short. Is he here next season? Absolutely not. I don't know how in the world you can keep a coordinator who had the unit that was last in the league in Rick Gosselin's annual rankings, which is the definitive rankings of special teams in this league, and just had what happened tonight happen. If you can't fix special teams, then you can't be the coordinator. And this has been a season-long problem. It's not like it just happened tonight. Maybe if this happened tonight, it'll be different. It's been a problem since September, since it was warm here at Lambeau Field, and now it's snowing. So, no, if you can't fix it, you can't coach it.
As you said, we're putting a lot of this on special teams, and deservedly so. But the offense had what we both called at the time the best opening drive they've had all season. And then nothing. What happened? How much of a concern is that? Who does it fall on?
Matt LaFleur fell directly on the sword, and Matt LaFleur should fall directly on the sword. It's his baby on that offensive side. He was hired to make this a Super Bowl offense. In a lot of ways, he has. Aaron Rodgers about to win back-to-back MVPs. You remember Aaron Rodgers 2018. He was a broken quarterback. He was a guy that played a lot of sandlot football. He was off schedule. He's really improved the play of Aaron Rodgers. Give him credit for that. But in the playoffs, it has not been good enough now for 3 straight years. And Matt LaFleur, he was asked tonight, Cassidy, how much of the blame goes to Aaron Rodgers? And truthfully, fair bit. And even Aaron Rodgers admitted that after the game. He didn't play well enough for this team to win, and that didn't sit well with him. But Matt LaFleur said, you know what? He's got to put these guys in better position. I thought the play that I'll never be able to understand was the 15th play of the game. After that opening drive, they were marching right down the field again. They were across the 50. It looked like they were about to go up 14-0, put this game away early. And the reason the Packers offense has been so good, they're getting the ball to their playmakers. In the first 14 plays, only once did someone not named Devontae Adams, Aaron Jones, or A.J. Dillon touch the football. Only once. And then on the 15th play, they throw to Mercedes Lewis, and that just was a stunning decision, a stunning play. He's a good football player for him, but he's a blocker. Not a playmaker in the passing game, and it would have been a 1-yard gain anyway. But when he fumbled, Cassidy, that turned the entire complexion of the game. After it stalled all momentum. I don't know why they didn't just keep getting it to their playmakers.
as you said, they had been getting it to their playmakers, but we noted during the fourth quarter that Davante Adams was the only receiver that had gotten a target up until that point. And I know that, like, on a night like tonight, you've got to come up with a different offensive plan. But Allen Lazard was not targeted until I think it was the fourth quarter. Randall Cobb, not until the very end. I don't think – I'm trying to think of who else they didn't target. All of that to say, did it feel like they were not sticking with what had gotten them here? And Matt LaFleur even told us last week, I know that during the playoffs I have to be consistent with what worked during the regular season. And so, for example, Curtis asked, you can't just give it to Davante Adams all game. Did it feel like they got away from what had gotten them here?
David Bakhtiari's absence was huge in this game. Make no mistake about it. It was very interesting. I thought that Dennis Kelly was the right tackle, and they moved Billy Turner to left tackle instead of putting Josh Nijman at left tackle and Billy Turner on right tackle, which they've gotten a lot of success with Josh Nijman having 8 starts. Basically, get this out of the way, his knee couldn't do it. After 27 snaps in Detroit, didn't respond well enough for him to play. Gave him the whole week and made the decision this morning. Everyone knows David Bakhtiari's absence was big. Marquez Valdes-Scantling's absence was also very, very big. And to not have a guy like that, you go back to that Week 3 game, Marquez Valdes-Scantling had a deep reception early in the game that took the top off that defense. And to not have that threat, even pose that threat tonight, I was surprised at how big of a difference it made for this offense. It was a huge difference. And it's just, you know, he's a guy that you don't think of being critical to this offense, but just being on the field, the presence with that speed, it's a very important piece that they didn't have tonight.
We've talked about what special teams did and didn't do to help tonight. Defense played one of their better games than they have all season. That a lot of that helped with having Zadarius Smith back on the field. All of that to say, this really did special teams is what lost it. But as someone pointed out, as Mitchell pointed out, if offense had kept moving the chains, the special teams wouldn't have been an issue. So all of that to ask, there's tons of questions about Aaron Rodgers. There's no way to go through them all. Just know that I see them all. But Joe puts it best. What happens next with Aaron Rodgers? That's
the question now, right? And you're absolutely right to ask it, everyone that's watching. He was asked extensively about that tonight, including at the very end. The last question I asked him in the past year, how has his relationship with Brian Gutekunst grown? How has it changed? And he said a lot. He said that one of the special things for him this season was to see that relationship grow. And it's come a long way to where he feels like he's now included in the discussion of things that are related to his job, which was a major gripe for a long time for Aaron Rodgers not being included. Brian Gutekunst included him, and the quarterback appreciated that. He said that Brian Gutekunst deserves a lot of credit for the decisions he made putting this team together. He said he put it together a Super Bowl team, and that he deserves a lot of credit for that. But he also, Cassidy, said he does not want to be part of a rebuild. And I think that's the biggest thing Aaron Rodgers said tonight. He said if he's going to continue to play, he does not want to be a part of a rebuild. And when you look at what 2022 looks like, it looks like a potential rebuild coming up.
Why do you say that?
The cap. There's a lot of cap decisions. And Aaron Rodgers alluded to it tonight. There's a lot of decisions on guys who played tonight. Zadarius Smith, on down the line. Rasul Douglas, how do you keep him? Devondre Campbell, how do you keep him? On down the line, a lot of the pieces that made that defense so dominant, almost historically dominant,